Good afternoon to all of you. My topic today is on evaluation of SARI Sentinel surveillance system in Kosovo during seasons 2014-15 till 2016-17. As we all know, the severe acute respiratory infection, or SARI, inpatient surveillance is a component of influenza surveillance. Influenza has a huge impact on mortality and morbidity worldwide. Each year, 5 to 10% of the world's population affected, leading to 250,000 to 500,000 deaths per year. SARI data are particularly useful for monitoring and assessing the impact of influenza on high-risk population and severity of seasonal outbreaks or future global pandemics. The SARI surveillance system in Kosovo is performed through epidemiological clinical-based influenza surveillance, and it's a routine surveillance system mandatory since 2011 in our whole territory, 38 municipalities, and also we have a laboratory-based Sentinel surveillance system. So the SARI Sentinel surveillance system was established in 2014 in two main regions of Kosovo, Pristina and Prizren, and we have 5 Sentinel sites. Our objective was to assess the data quality and performance of SARI Sentinel surveillance system and identify the gaps of our surveillance system, help provide feedback and recommendations in order to improve our Sentinel surveillance. The methods. Our case definition is based on the ECDC WHO recommendation from 2012, and it's an acute respiratory illness with onset during the previous 7 days, requiring overnight hospitalization that includes fever equal or greater than 38 degrees Celsius, and cough and shortness of breath. Our surveillance data were used to assess the data quality, completeness, and timeliness, questionnaires for representativeness, simplicity, acceptability, flexibility, and utility. The questionnaires were distributed to all health staff engaged in our 5 Sentinel sites during May 2017. For lab confirmation, we perform a real-time PCR. The categorical variables were presented as percentages, and the data were analyzed using Excel 2010. The scoring scale for assessing the quantitative and qualitative attributes of our system were scaled from 1 to 3, so less than 60% were equal to 1 as a weak performance, 60 to 79% as a 2, or a moderate performance, and from 80 to 100% as a 3 or good performance. Regarding the results from the 3 seasons, we can see here the 502 SARI cases that we have registered during the 3 periods. During the first period, 2014-15, the positivity of the SARI reported cases was equal to 12.4%. In the next season, 2015-16, we've had a positivity of 22.9%, and in our last season, it was 16.17%. So the average of positivity was around 17%. These are the laboratory surveillance data in Kosovo during these 3 seasons. As we can see, that during the first season, the majority of the positivity were identified as influenza A, not subtype, and actually the next season, the majority of the positive cases were influenza B, and on the last season, the 58% of the whole SARI positive cases were AH3, then 34% of them A, and 8% of them were B. Regarding the results for our attributes, we can see that the proportion of SARI data collected forms received and expected, we've had 100% of them. All the cases were sampled and the availability of laboratory data. The SARI cases that meet our case definition was in 93% of them, and the proportion of completeness of SARI forms was 78%, lacking in our information for risk factors. The timeliness, we have 100% of proportion of data collections received within 7 days. From collections, 91.4% were the proportion of specimens that were analyzed and have the final result within target time frame. The proportion of samples received within 48 hours, 84.2%, and the proportion of weekly reports issued within the target day. So we do a weekly report during the season from week 40 to 20. Regarding the representativeness, the geographic coverage, we have included 48.4% of our total population, and we have included all age groups. Regarding the acceptability, the proportion of surveillance staff that is satisfied with the following reports answered that they are satisfied, 72% of them, and the percentage of the time they devote to weekly surveillance activity is 1 to 3 hours per 40 hours per week. The relative perception of the simplicity of the key surveillance activities is, of the surveillance staff is 71% of them that think that it's easy, and their perception on the time that it takes to complete the variables is 68% of them say that it's just about right. There was no complaints in the courier performance for delivering the items for each Sentinel site. The flexibility, we have made the change on case definition during this season, the closer season 2017. We have introduced a reporting electronic system that links us to the microbiology. For the utility, we've been able to identify the circulating viruses, influenza viruses during the seasons, and we have performed the external quality assurance programs with the accuracy of 100%. So, regarding the attributes, we have a good performance for timeliness, simplicity, flexibility, and utility, and we have a moderate performance for data quality, completeness, representativeness, and accessibility. This study marks the first effort to evaluate the SARI Sentinel surveillance in Kosovo in terms of its capacity, system attributes, and identifying strong and weak points. Our limitation is assessing of other attributes and of other indicators. So the conclusion is that SARI Sentinel surveillance system has capacities to meet its objectives, but further investment in training and infrastructure is needed. Recommendations: review and improve the individual case reporting form, especially on risk factors, training the medical staff on case reporting forms. SARI Sentinel surveillance should be expanded, include maybe also a private sector, and performing routine monitoring activities in order to maximize all the verification of all the cases. And I would like to thank to all of my colleagues that contributed, and also to my supervisors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pranvera. Well, it was quite clear, but I'm sure that there are some questions and comments. It's now open for that to the floor.
Thank you very much for the presentation. We have seen in your slides that the number of cases decreased season after season. Why?
Sorry?
Why the number of cases of SARI
Yeah.
has decreased season
Increases and decreases?
Uh-huh.
These are the cases that are reported from
Yes.
the week 40 to 20.
If you
Am I-
go
am I-
back to the slides with the bars and the yes, this one. Okay, so here we see that the number of cases of SARI in the first season were more than second season and more than the third season. So why you have a decrease in your blue bars?
In 2014-15, as we know, we had H1N1, circulation of the viruses, and maybe the SARI cases were linked to that, or are you thinking of positivity or reporting?
No, reporting, the blue bars, the reporting ones.
Based on, we've had that the proportion of the SARI cases that are notified, that 93% of them are meeting the case definition, so.
Sorry.
I think the question is why you see a decrease in case from one season to the other. Do you have, from 1 year to the other, do you have any explanation of this decrease?
Yes?
Pranvera, what's the question? The question was also, as Delphine said, that is there is, for example, under-reporting for the case?
No, it's not under-reporting.
The
No,
methodology,
it's
the
not
case definition
under-reporting.
is changed. Another
No, we have changed the case definition this year.
turnover of the staff, etc.
No.
Yeah.
No, there's no changes in case definition. On the Sentinel sites, we have all the same. One,
Doesn't mean that is the.
In 2014, this season, we started with a Sentinel site. So we trained the staff and we started the process. In this time, because of enthusiasm, we can say that it was over-reported of SARI cases. And after that, after first season, we freely can say with high responsibilities that the number of cases, SARI cases reported is more realistic.
the positivity is in the second season. Is yes. Yes, and we've had AH1, that's what I mentioned.
And then the second season, 2016, there is high influenza positivity. This year, 2016, 2017, we have a lower influenza positivity, yet we are not yet started the season. Season start from week...
from the second week.
Yeah, it is just starting.
Yes, it was postponed,
So it is postponed, and I have maybe like 2 months with low influenza positivity, and our result is mirror of this.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for all the clarification. We can have one last question.
Back to the slide of the laboratory results. So, number 10. Yes. We see actually the types of the preference viruses of influenza. Could you like to describe the presence of the inconsistency between the all types of these viruses during your surveillance data? And is this related to the decreasing number of SARI cases?
Yes, it decreases season by season, as we can see, but the 74% of the cases from the period of 2014-15 were influenza A, not subtype, while 26% of them were H1N1. And regarding the next season, 46% of the cases were influenza B. We had, the circulation of virus B, influenza, and 36% of them were A. 11% of the SARI positive cases were AH1N1, and only 7% of them were AH3. And from the last season, 58% of them were AH3, and 34% of them were A, not subtype, and just 8% of them were B. So we can see that it's...
Despite this is also influenza A in the last seasons, but the SARI cases the predominant is influenza A.
Yeah.
But the SARI cases are down the numbers.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation, the question and the comments, and thank you.